Good evening. Our top story this week. In Kansas, a sperm donor is ordered to pay child support after the lesbian mother goes on welfare, which he's trying to fight in court, after the state threatens to sue him for non-payment, and a lower court judge said he had to pay. Paranoid U.S. parents are now buying up bulletproof clothing for their kids in light of the Newtown, Connecticut school shooting a couple weeks back. And in Florida, the child protective industry is trying to shut down a group home that they didn't license. In Illinois, the state Senate rejects extra funding for road projects in the Department of Children and Family Services after promising the money to horse tracks instead. In Michigan, the child protective industry is being accused of failing to protect a little girl who was stabbed to death by her mother by failing to snatch her when they had the chance. In Georgia, an audit finds that the state's child protective industry's computer system, which costed $50 million to set up and $14 million a year to run as a way of keeping track of abused and neglected children, contains outdated information, and that Georgia's CPS agents are failing to file reports of suspected child abuse into the system in a timely manner anyway. In Maine, teachers are claiming to be confused in regards to the new rules around the use of dangerous and abusive physical restraints of unruly students. Maine's CPS-loving governor wants to toughen the state's child abuse reporting laws, and two adoptive parents of a Russian orphan in Maine are upset over Russia's new adoption ban. In Massachusetts, a bill is submitted that would create a safety plan for social workers who piss people off. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear the case of a Native American girl who was adopted by a white family in 2009 when the mother gave her up, then ordered back to her real father when he protested. In North Carolina, the head of the child protective industry calls DHHS structurally broken and says that it's lucky that they can accomplish anything with the level of dysfunction that they are facing. In Ohio, a debate is raging on regarding the forcing of parents to pay child support for the kids who are stolen by CPS agents, regardless of the fact that it makes it very difficult for them to get their kids back. And in Tennessee, the child protective industry is being accused of mishandling child abuse cases by a group of experts tasked with examining the worst cases in the state. The U.S. Congress passes a foster care education bill that would give CPS agents access to the student records of foster children, taking away a parent's rights to protect their kids' school records. The U.S. Senate passes a bill expressing disappointment over the new Russian adoption ban, and Speaker of the House John Boehner tells the U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid to go fuck himself outside the Oval Office. In China this week, 10 kids who survived a fire at the orphanage they were living in are now being cared for by the government. North Korea approves the adoption of their kids to American parents, where they will likely be abused like the Russian kids. And in South Africa, the child protective industry is failing to put sex offenders on the child protection register in a timely manner. In Australia, a lobby group is accusing the government of using privacy laws to cover for pedophiles. In Canada, the Ottawa Youth Services Bureau is trying to address the problem of young homeless people, most of whom came out of their foster care system. In Manitoba, where the inquiry into the death of a little girl who was involved with the child welfare system plugs away, the system is still found to be in utter chaos where they just can't seem to get it right. In England, a former foster kid is due to be sentenced for ripping off his foster mother of 10 years after he had lost his job. And 8,000 British social workers have been barred from practicing after failing to renew their licensing registration with the Health and Care Professional Council. In entertainment news this week, MTV's teen mom Jenelle Evans' husband of less than 1 month claims that he is dumping her after she threatened him with a false abuse claim. In Illinois, a former foster parent pleads guilty to sexually abusing a little boy that he knew. In Oklahoma, a foster father is arrested for sending sexual text messages to a 15-year-old former foster daughter. In North Carolina, a teenager is charged with trying to stab a staff member at her group home. And in Georgia, a warrant is issued for a foster mother who beat her 2 kids, including a foster child in her care, with a belt. In Arizona, 2 boys are recaptured after trying to escape from the group home that CPS had put them in. In California, the Sacramento County child protective industry is being criticized for inadequately reviewing the case of a CPS agent who abused kids herself. A panel of California appellate judges ruled in favor of a U.S. Marine who had lost custody of his kid to his ex-wife because he had been deployed to Afghanistan. And in Florida, a father is pissed after CPS agents investigate him, including visiting his kids at school after it was reported that he had exercised his Second Amendment rights by owning and safely firing guns. In Illinois, a father who has custody of the kids is owed more than $30,000 in back child support, which he hasn't been paid. In Missouri, a former teacher who had her child abuse charges dropped is suing the child protective industry so that she can try to get her job back. In New York, a family court judge is censured for misconduct after visiting a girl in the psychiatric ward and treating lawyers and a probation supervisor rudely. In Utah, a judge upholds a decision to give a father custody of his child after the mother tried to adopt the kid out from under him. And finally, tonight in Minnesota, a couple's foster care license is revoked amid concerns about the foster father getting drunk and firing his gun out the back door. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.